This is what happens when you kill the wrong man and get sucked into a game you can't win. This story's a puzzle, and by the end, all the pieces will click. Inside a parked car, a group of tough-looking men watch as a mysterious young woman, Anis, walks into a crowded bar. They quickly call their boss, Burke. He orders them to eliminate both Anais and the man she's meeting, an older ex-FBI agent named Ray King. The men rush toward the bar. Inside, it's bingo night, and the crowd is noisy, yet Anais easily spots Ray at his table. Ray shows her a photo of a small family of 3. He explains that the father of the woman in the photo hired him to find his missing daughter, her husband, and their child. Ray tells Anis he used to investigate financial crimes for the FBI, but this case is personal. He truly wants to help a family in trouble. Anais isn't interested. She's not a hero. She tells Ray her skills aren't for saving lives. Then she reveals she had spotted Burke's men outside the bar, and some already inside, and warns Ray they're probably here to eliminate him. Ray sees the men pushing through the crowd. He tries to create a distraction, urgently telling Anais to leave. He heads for the bathroom, hoping to draw them to him and give her a chance to escape, but it doesn't work. From inside the bathroom, he hears gunshots, then screams as the bar erupts into chaos. He can't escape. The windows are sealed. He quickly ducks into the stall at the far end, desperately writing words on his arm as the thugs open fire, then kick in the stalls one after another. When they reach him, Ray fights back. Shockingly fast for his age, he disarms one attacker and takes down both men, using nothing but a pen. Bursting out of the bathroom, he sees Burke's men lying motionless on the floor. Around him, people scream and run for the exits. Anais is nowhere in sight. She must have slipped away after neutralizing the threats. Ray follows, rushing into the busy street and blending with the fleeing crowd, but he doesn't make it far. A sudden impact takes him down. He stumbles and collapses hard onto the pavement. The next morning, Deputy Director Medina gets a call from the LAPD. Her old boss, Ray King, is dead. She heads straight to the morgue, where they tell her she was Ray's emergency contact. Then they ask if Ray owed money. Apparently, they'd found words written on his arm that read, "Find the accountant." Medina immediately understands. The message has nothing to do with bad finances. Meanwhile, accountant Christian Wolf lies low in a small town, trying to stay off the radar. His only close contact is Justine, a friend he trusts like family. They discuss their business of handling money records for powerful mafia groups. While Chris gets ready to go to a local singles party, Justine bluntly warns him not to cause trouble, but Chris had already broken that rule before arriving. The moment he steps in, all eyes lock onto him. Sure, there are plenty of other guys, but all the women line up specifically to meet him. Turns out, they've all seen his flashy online dating profile. Their excitement fades fast, though. Chris skips small talk and instead starts rating them using a compatibility algorithm. His awkward approach sends every eager woman walking away one by one, and suddenly, the other guys seem more impressive by comparison. Eventually, he admits to the organizers that he reverse-engineered the selection algorithm to make himself look like the perfect candidate. After the disaster, he goes back to his trailer in the hills. His guns and motorcycle are neatly arranged, ready at all times. Even something as simple as eating follows a strict, unchanging routine. Medina begins investigating Ray's death. She travels to the city where he lived and heads straight to the house he rented. An older couple, his landlords, let her inside. She sees right away that all of Ray's papers and notes, the ones he clearly used to pin on the walls, are gone. The couple shows her a box where they packed up all his files. Inside the box is some serious stuff. Photos of bodies, messy handwritten notes, and stacks of reports. It's clear Ray was looking into several suspicious deaths. Then, one item catches her eye, a business card from Harbor Neuroscience Academy. She flips it over and sees a name written on the back, Christian Wolf. Medina knows this is her best lead. Christian Wolf must be the accountant Ray wanted her to find. That night, she acts fast. She calls the academy, and a receptionist answers. They claim no one named Christian Wolf works there, but Medina's not buying it. She presses harder, demanding to speak to whoever oversees him. The receptionist seems confused, with no idea what Medina's talking about. Right before the call drops, Medina says that Ray King's dead. She knows someone's listening, and turns out she's right. Justine was listening. She'd already dug up files on Medina and Ray, even traced the call back to Ray's house. Hearing about Ray's death is all she needs to take Medina seriously. Frustrated, Medina pins up the family photo she found at the bar, the one Ray was searching for. She studies it closely, convinced the answer lies somewhere in that picture. The next morning, we see the man behind the attack on Ray and Anais. Burke's at his fish stall in the market, appearing to be an ordinary seafood vendor. By night, however, he runs a criminal organization that smuggles people across borders. He pulls his man Cobb aside demanding answers about the failed operation involving Anise. Trained operatives had been deployed, yet she somehow slipped away. Cobb admits she disappeared. He never got a clean shot. It is revealed that Anais was the primary target. Ray simply got caught in the crossfire for knowing too much. Burke is worried Anais will hunt him down, but Cobb insists Anise didn't even know she was the mark, so Burke has nothing to fear. But Burke's voice goes ice cold. 3 years back, Anise infiltrated his associates' gathering. She neutralized all the men but spared him. At the time, he wasn't among her targets. She also didn't recognize him as the man who ruined her life, but he identified her instantly by the distinctive tattoo on her leg. Seeing how deadly she's become, he's sure she'll come hunting for him the moment she remembers. He orders Cobb to find her fast and end her before she gets to him. This time, he emphasizes the operation must be clean, no law enforcement or civilian casualty. That same morning, Medina picks up Ray's investigation into the missing family. She stands in a parking lot examining cracked pavement from one of the photos when Christian appears without warning. He wants to know why she's searching for him. Medina's hand flies to her gun, coming face to face with the man Ray described so ominously, sets her on edge. She's aware of the kind of damage he's capable of causing and knows the dangerous criminals he works for. Christian keeps his voice calm, urging her not to make any sudden moves. Though she doesn't understand why Ray wanted her to find him, Medina recognizes Christian's reputation for solving impossible puzzles. She takes him back to Ray's rented house, where she's recreated his investigation wall with photos and notes. While the wall makes no sense to her, Christian's sharp eyes immediately spot what matters. The family photo holds significance, as does a separate image of a young boy behind a wire fence. He also realizes the 4 men at the bar were too highly trained for Ray to have confronted alone. Later that night, while Medina sleeps, Christian quietly reorganizes the entire investigation. By dawn, he's transformed the chaotic wall into a clear map of connections. He walks her through his discoveries, starting with the Sanchez family, who fled El Salvador by riding atop freight trains. 2 photos reveal their story. One shows the complete family, while another, taken years later, shows just their son. The mother, Edith, appears in records working at a pizza factory. Her tax documents leading to Emiliano Gonzalez, one of Ray's clients. Christian explains that Gonzalez is Edith's father, and that Ray was likely helping him find his daughter and family, since there's no record of any contact between them for the past 7 years. Christian and Medina visit the pizza factory where Edith once worked, hoping to question the manager, Ike. Surrounded by bodyguards, Ike claims not to remember her. He says hundreds of women worked there daily. He couldn't possibly know every name, but Christian came prepared. He quietly reveals he studied the factory's financial records. Ike's been falsifying them to hide dirty money. When Ike angrily confronts him, Christian reacts instantly, twisting the manager's finger until bodyguards rush in. What follows looks more like a choreographed fight scene than a real struggle, as Christian dispatches them using only an empty trash bag. With Ike pinned to the counter and in pain, the truth comes out. The dirty money came from a human trafficker named Tomas, operating out of a local motel. In the car afterward, Medina scolds Christian. As a deputy director, she can't condone torture. Christian counters that it was his intelligence work, passed through Justine to her and her predecessor, that helped capture numerous criminals and secured them the position in the first place. She insists on no more violence and proposes bringing in an FBI field agent. Christian suggests his brother Braxton would be perfect for the job. Meanwhile, Braxton's life couldn't be more different. We see him in Berlin, checking into an upscale hotel, nervously rehearsing a conversation with a woman named Margaret. No matter how many times he practices, his words sound forced and unnatural. The deadly professional is struggling with basic human connection and dealing with loneliness. To fill the emptiness, he's applied to adopt a corgi puppy. He only feels confident enough to call the adoption agency when holding his gun. Margaret, the woman handling the adoption, tells him he can't take the puppy early. It's still too young. Annoyed, he goes out for ice cream. He strikes up a one-sided conversation with a woman nearby, sounding like an awkward first date, asking questions, telling jokes, even offering to share his ice cream. But the woman sits frozen in fear, refusing to respond. Braxton keeps talking anyway. Then his phone rings. It's Christian, his brother who hasn't spoken to him in 8 years, not even for birthdays. Braxton hangs up immediately. When Christian calls back, Braxton reminds him how he's always the one reaching out. The last time he helped Christian, it almost destroyed his career. Christian ignores this and asks if Braxton can get to Los Angeles within 24 hours. Braxton hangs up again. The terrified woman finally speaks, begging him not to hurt her. This confuses and angers Braxton. Why would she think that? As he walks away frustrated at her inability to have a normal conversation, the camera reveals the truth. The room is full of unresponsive bodies. The woman had witnessed Braxton neutralizing her associates earlier. Christian and Medina wait at the Los Angeles motel where the traffickers operate. Medina confesses she feels unworthy of her FBI position. She wishes she could measure up to Ray. Christian ignores her self-doubt until she nervously asks if Braxton can really help. Christian admits they haven't spoken in 8 years, and Braxton's still angry with him. But he believes in his brother's skills and is quietly glad he's coming. Medina suggests Christian tell Braxton exactly that, how grateful he is for his help. When Braxton arrives, he's instantly suspicious. He's shocked to see Christian with a woman and distrusts Medina the moment she introduces herself as a Fed. Due to the nature of his job, he avoids the Feds. Medina quickly explains she only wants help with this case, but Braxton drags Christian aside. Following Medina's advice, Christian thanks him. Braxton sees right through it. This emotional talk isn't his brother's style. It has Medina written all over it. At the front desk, the manager arranges a meeting with 3 escorts connected to Tomas, the trafficker from their pizza factory lead. The brothers wait in their room while Medina monitors from another room nearby. When the women knock, Braxton motions Christian to stay quiet and move to the far side of the room. He wants to handle this alone. He pays them up front, then gets straight to business, asking what happens if a client crosses the line, who they call, and what they have to do to get that person to show up. The women get nervous, but tell them nothing. Then Christian slips up and says the name, Tomas. The name scares them, and they realize this isn't about business anymore. Only one stays, but she drives a hard bargain. Helping them means risking her life. She demands enough money to disappear forever. She admits Tomas is vicious and wants them to hurt him. She calls Tomas, lying that clients are holding her. She gives their room number and leaves with the cash. As they wait, Medina gets updates from her team. Traffic cameras saw Ray's last moments, but didn't catch the shooter. They tried reaching Emiliano Gonzalez, Ray's client who hired him to find the missing family. Emiliano has been killed. Police records show he reported his family missing 7 years ago. The investigation reveals a cartel has been taking migrant families, demanding money for their release. Those who can't pay face terrible fates. The men are eliminated, the women forced into trafficking. Nobody knows what happens to the children. Medina sees Gino Sanchez's body in a mass grave. He's the husband from Ray's photo. But there's hope. His wife and son might still be alive. Finding them could be the key to understanding why Ray was killed. Tomas storms in, ready to rescue his girls, but Braxton greets him with a knockout punch that sends him flying off the balcony. He crashes onto a car below, dazed. Before he can recover, they shove him into the trunk of Medina's car. Medina isn't happy. If the police pull her over and search the car, this whole operation blows up. Christian doesn't waste time. He calls Justine and asks her to hack the traffic lights to keep Medina's route clear, flood police scanners with fake emergencies to tie up their units, and most importantly, dig up everything on who Ray met at the bar. By morning, Justine's already mobilized her team, a crew of genius kid hackers hidden deep inside Harbor Academy's secret tech hub. They fan out across the city's surveillance network, pulling footage from every camera, streetlight, and ATM, hunting for the stranger who crossed paths with Ray. At King's house, the crew struggles with how to make Tomas talk. Braxton insists on straightforward torture to force answers from him. Justine interrupts, arriving with fresh security footage that might show the operative who eliminated Ray. Medina argues they're wasting time. If her elite FBI hackers couldn't find anything, she doubts anyone can. Justine takes this as a personal challenge. Her team produces 4 additional camera angles. While they don't catch the shooter, they spot something unusual. A woman walking calmly out the door during the shootout, while everyone else fled in panic. It's Anais, moving as if nothing dangerous was happening. They try tracking Anais through security cameras, but quickly realize she expertly avoided every surveillance angle, clearly knowing all the camera locations. Their breakthrough comes when they notice a woman across the street taking a selfie at the exact moment Anais passed by. They switch strategies. If they can't track the mysterious woman directly, they'll find her through the selfie-taking woman's phone. The young hackers get to work. First, they use facial recognition on the woman in the selfie and identify her as Pamela. Next, they find her home address through her driver's license records. The team then hacks into Pamela's smart home system. They start small, accessing her printer first, then moving to her laptop. While some team members distract Pamela by tampering with her other devices, others quietly search her cloud photo storage. It's like a high-tech game of red light, green light. Whenever Pamela might notice their activity, they freeze their search until the distraction kicks in again. Medina watches uncomfortably as these kids violate an innocent woman's privacy. She protests loudly, calling this operation illegal and demanding they stop immediately. But the determined hackers won't quit. They're too close to finding what they need. Just before Pamela could notice the intrusion, they locate the selfie. Working quickly, they sharpen the image and run the mysterious woman's face through Interpol's database. The match appears. This woman is connected to multiple high-profile fatalities worldwide. Shockingly, these are the exact same cases Raymond King had been investigating before his death. Yet despite identifying her face, they can't find her real name. She exists without any official identity. This discovery creates more confusion than clarity. Medina can't understand why Ray would meet with such a dangerous killer just to track down a missing family. Braxton makes an odd comment suggesting Anise couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, leading Medina to realize that he's subtly admitting to some of the tragedies himself. This ethical breach becomes Medina's breaking point. She decides to walk away, starting her car to leave. Remembering Tomas still locked in the trunk, she returns just long enough to tell Chris she regrets ever contacting him. She's continuing the investigation alone through proper channels. As she finally drives off, she warns she'll be back and hopes they'll be gone by then. Meanwhile, at Burke's hideout, near the Mexican border, we see an entire community of children held prisoner by armed gang members. Burke plans to sell these children for profit. Among the captives is Alberto, the missing Sanchez family's son. Days later, Medina continues her investigation by the book, unaware how dangerous her targets truly are. With a lawyer present, she tries to scare Tomas into betraying his boss. She threatens to charge him with trafficking and other crimes unless he gives information about his boss's identity, their operations, and the missing family. Tomas's lawyer calls her bluff. But when Medina reveals that Ike, a higher-ranking member, was neutralized with a rat stuffed in his mouth after talking to her, even the lawyer grows pale. Tomas realizes if they eliminated Ike so brutally, his fate would be worse. He starts talking immediately. He admits knowing Edith and reveals she was in a serious car accident years ago. Just as he's about to officially name her in his statement, gunfire erupts from a distant building. Cobb, the sniper, tries to kill everyone in the room, but only succeeds in taking out Tomas and his lawyer. That afternoon, the brothers try to relax, at least Braxton does, while Christian and Justine comb through 5 years of car accident records, searching for any trace of Edith. When Justine uncovers a potential lead involving an old parking lot accident, Christian instructs her to track down the victim's hospital records. After the call ends, Braxton finally voices the question that's been haunting him, asking whether Christian ever misses him when they are apart. He admits to spending years searching for his brother, who never reciprocated the effort. Braxton wants to know if his brother doesn't care about him or if it's a result of his condition. Christian answers simply, his brain works differently. Surprisingly, this honest response makes Braxton feel a whole lot better, and he suggests they go out and get wasted together. By nightfall, they hit a rowdy country club. Braxton's chatting up a storm about how Chris brought them to the wrong kind of bar, while Chris locks eyes with a woman dancing. She catches him staring, walks over, and introduces herself as Angie. With a smile, she asks Chris to request a song. Christian's choice is totally wrong for a country bar, and the vibe tanks. Braxton is disappointed Chris couldn't figure out the girl was clearly flirting, and he tries to explain how Chris should have responded. But Christian just reminds him his brain doesn't work like his. When the music changes, Christian suddenly stands up, walks to the dance floor, and positions himself stiffly beside Angie. He begins doing a line dance, counting his steps like it's a math problem. Braxton swells with pride. He knows exactly how tough it is for his brother to put himself out there. The song ends, the crowd cheers, and Christian has a good time, even managing to impress Angie, until some guy and his friends approach him, claiming Angie's his girl. Knowing Braxton enjoys this part, Christian taunts the guy just enough for Braxton to spot he's about to be roughed up. Within minutes, the guy and his friends go flying through a window. The brothers escape before police arrive. Christian shows Braxton that Angie gave him her number, which makes Braxton very happy. Medina follows Tomas's last lead to University Medical Center, hoping to search old records for any clue about Edith's whereabouts. After convincing a doctor to help, she learns the truth. A few years back, Edith was in a terrible car crash. She broke many bones, smashed her skull, and needed surgery to rebuild her face. Right before the operation, she was confused and disoriented, mumbling about being attacked. The doctors didn't realize Edith's crash happened because she was fleeing a man who had attacked her in the pizza factory parking lot where she worked. The injuries were so severe, Edith lost nearly all her memory. She endured months of painful rehab just to function again. Then, something weird happened. During recovery, Edith developed savant syndrome, a rare condition where a brain injury suddenly grants someone extraordinary new skills. Edith became a chess genius overnight, but she didn't play calmly or strategically. She played like someone fighting for her life. Her style was desperate and aggressive, as if losing meant she would die. Probably because the last thing her brain registered before the crash was fighting off her attacker and fleeing. One night in the hospital while trying to escape, Edith snapped. She attacked a security guard like a wild animal, stole his weapon, and fled. Now, Medina needs to know if Edith remembers anything. The doctor shows her an old video of Edith. In the footage, Edith refuses to answer any questions about her family. While Medina and the doctor are talking, Justine quietly hacks into the doctor's computer and copies all of Edith's files without anyone noticing. Back with the Wolf brothers, Braxton presses his employer about Anais' identity. Surely he knows her since she took jobs. Braxton refused. The employer won't talk and instead sends a new target photo. Medina. This hits Braxton hard. He doesn't want this job. He leaves it untouched and goes to bed. Christian stays up all night, sorting through clues from the helpful escort and Ray's research, which he took from Medina's Airbnb and spread across his trailer roof. One detail stands out. Edith is alive, but never contacted her father. Then he notices the photo of Alberto shows what looks like a prison camp, not a school. Braxton's phone beeps. He discovers his brother was originally assigned to eliminate Medina, but refused. Now another operative has the job. Christian doesn't wait. He floors the accelerator, racing through darkness to save Medina. He orders Justine to warn her immediately. Justine does better. She reveals they've found Edith Sanchez. Ray wasn't eliminated for searching for Edith, but because he'd already found her. Anais turns out to be the hired hitman and breaks into Medina's Airbnb with gun drawn. Justine's warning gives Medina just enough time to pull her own weapon, but Anais overpowers her easily. Medina grabs a knife, slashing wildly, but she's no match. Anais disarms her and drives it through her. Then Anais freezes. Her eyes lock on a family photo taped to the wall. Memories flood back, because Anais isn't just a highly skilled operative. She's Edith Sanchez, the missing mother from the photo, the daughter of the late Emilio Sanchez, wife of the murdered Gino Sanchez, and mother of their son, Alberto. The past rushes in. The migrants, the cartels, Tomas branding her with a tattoo, and Burke executing her husband before her eyes. Before she can process this, Christian bursts in, gun drawn. Justine helped him connect the dots. He knows Anais is Edith, but Anais says she's no longer Edith Sanchez. Christian tells her that her son Alberto has been found, held captive in a camp near the Mexican border. Edith says nothing. She simply walks away, letting Christian help Medina. Meanwhile, Burke gets a call from Braxton's employer. He warns Burke that the hit on Medina failed and that 3 dangerous operatives may be coming for him. Burke immediately orders Cobb to move all the kidnapped children from the camp into the desert and to wipe out and bury any evidence that might tie them to him. Cobb is horrified, but agrees to follow orders. Christian is furious. Braxton hid the assassination order from him. He swears to rescue Alberto and every trapped child, no matter the cost. Braxton suspects Christian sees himself in Alberto, another lonely boy struggling with the same condition. He's always cleaned up Christian's messes, but this time feels different. His instincts scream, this mission will be their last. By morning, Justine and her young hackers take control of Border Patrol drones. They find the children's camp near the border. The screen shows armed men forcing kids onto buses, while heavy machinery digs what can only be a mass grave. The sight shakes Justine so badly she turns off the monitors. She can't bear to watch, and won't let the kids see either. The brothers load up with weapons, preparing for war. For the first time, Christian truly thanks Braxton for always standing by him. The moment their tires hit the compound's dirt, grenades start flying. Switching to his rifle, he takes out a guard at the watchtower. They plow through the gates, their vehicle absorbing relentless gunfire as explosions detonate nearby. Bullets shred metal and glass until the wrecked truck crashes into a shed. Amid the chaos and screaming children, Alberto slips back toward the dormitory. Cobb spots the movement and follows the boy, while the remaining cartel forces focus their firepower on the wrecked truck. But they're wasting ammo. The Wolf brothers have already bailed and reappear from blind spots to take down several men. Cobb finds Alberto and Christian spots him dragging the boy toward the bus with the remaining kids. With all children accounted for, Cobb sees no reason to stay. They head for the desert to carry out Burke's orders, leaving a few goons behind to deal with the brothers. Christian and Braxton move skillfully through the camp using structures for cover. They dispatch multiple enemies before a grenade blast nearly takes Braxton out. Dazed but alive, the brothers retreat into a building and eliminate more goons from there. They toss smoke grenades across the yard. The thick haze blinds their enemies, letting the brothers flank them, while cartel members fire wildly at shadows. But from his vantage point, Cobb lines up a perfect shot and hits Braxton with several rounds. To protect his brother, Christian drags him to cover and checks his wounds. Braxton waves him off, insisting he continue the mission to save the kids. With his last bullet, Braxton charges, neutralizing one goon with his rifle butt, dropping another with his final shot, and eliminating a third in brutal hand-to-hand combat. When he turns to finish the first, his strength fails, and he's overpowered. Just in time, Christian bursts in, saving Braxton by eliminating the last threat. The brothers speed toward the bus, but it's already at the pit, and the kids are being forced out into the pit using a cartel truck. They get close without being recognized. They take out all the armed men except Cobb, who ducks into the bus at the last moment. Inside, Cobb finds Alberto hiding at the back. Christian finds Cobb using Alberto as a human shield at the back of the bus. He approaches carefully, humming a nursery rhyme to steady himself. Just as he prepares to strike, Braxton fires through the rear window. The bullet hits Cobb's arm, giving Christian the opening he needs to take him down without harming Alberto. Christian confirms the boy is Alberto Sanchez. He tries to comfort him, assuring him he's safe now. Alberto avoids eye contact, confirming Christian's suspicion. The boy is just like him. Outside, Braxton checks the pit. The kids are scared but unharmed. He helps them back to the bus, finally free from their nightmare. As they drive away, Braxton suddenly shouts to stop. He jumps out and rescues a stray cat in the road, proving Christian right. He really was always a cat person. Meanwhile, in the Czech Republic, Braxton's employer gets a call from Justine. She shocks him by revealing she knows all his secrets. With this leverage, she forces him to cancel the Medina hit. The contract's rules are simple. It ends when either Medina dies or Burke, the man who ordered it, is eliminated. The boss agrees. He gives up Burke's hiding place, a safe house in Costa Rica where Burke's waiting for news of Medina's death. Justine immediately passes the location to Anais. In Costa Rica, Anais finds Burke stepping out of the shower. The moment he sees her, he freezes. His worst nightmare has finally caught up with him. Then he runs. Anais grabs the nearest knife and follows him. It is revealed she tore her family photo. Back in the US, Medina returns to work after recovering. She starts dismantling corrupt operations tied to the case, beginning with the fake pizza factory. She calls the academy, knowing Justine is listening, and thanks her for helping save the kids. She adds that Ray would be proud. Justine and her team prepare a room, ready to welcome Alberto to the academy. A few days later, we see the brothers arguing over who gets to pet the cat. Alberto's been holding it too long, and Braxton wants his turn. Christian distracts Braxton by suggesting they take a trip together after dropping off Alberto. Braxton's thrilled. For the first time, these two deadly operatives start building a real bond.